What's up, Leafs fans, and welcome back to Leafs Digest. Now, as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline here, more news and rumors are going to be coming out every single day surrounding this Toronto Maple Leafs team. The more we see them play games like we did against Buffalo the other night, where you get absolutely walled by a bottom-dwelling team in the league, it's going to raise concerns. It's going to push fans, push the media to get to a point where we sit here and go, we need to get these players. We need to upgrade this team. We need to add these people into this lineup. But we need to find the right fits, and we can't just continue to throw names and say this guy should come here, that guy should come here. Who are they? How much do they make? And what will they do when they get to this Toronto Maple Leafs team? Now, the most recent one that I've seen is Conor Garland. According to John Steger of LeafsNation.com, he says he's a good fit for beefing up the second power play unit, as well as he can provide some help offensively and defensively on the second line. And Patrick Johnson at Rising Action on Twitter wrote in an article on theprovince.com saying that chatter on Conor Garland has picked up and the Leafs are a possible suitor. Now, I've done some diving into Conor Garland, who he is, the points he's put up, who he's playing with. Would this guy be a fit here? Is this someone that the Leafs might be interested in or should take a second look at? But before I get into Conor Garland, I want to remind everybody to subscribe to this channel. It takes you 10 seconds to do so. There's a little red button there that says subscribe. There's one that's popping up in the corner of this video, says subscribe now. Just hit that. Turn on notifications. You will be notified when our betting previews are out, when we have news, reactions, updates on rumors, trades, injuries. It'll all be broken down here. And if you want to be joining us for our live post-game reactions, you will get notified ahead of time, and you will also get notified the second we're going live. So make sure you turn on that notification button. But let's get into Conor Garland here. Now, there's been rumors, if you read online, that Kyle Dubas was interested in Conor Garland last year at last year's trade deadline when he was still playing for the Arizona Coyotes. Now, whether or not there's any truth to that, I'm not sure. Kyle Dubas has not said anything about it himself. It's just people on Twitter speculating about who he might have been interested in. Now, when it goes to Conor Garland, he did get traded to the Vancouver Canucks in the Oliver Ekman-Larsson deal this past summer, and he's a pretty good player. He's a feisty guy. He's 5'10", 165 pounds, a right-handed shot, 25 years old, and he makes $4.95 million per year until 2026. Now, how does this compare to guys like JT Miller or Alexander Kerfoot? In terms of point production, he's below both of them. This season, he only has 31 points in 51 games played, whereas Alexander Kerfoot, currently here on the Toronto Maple Leafs, making $3.5 million, 1.4 less than Conor Garland, may I remind you, has 38 points in 54 games. 7 more points, 3 more games played. Kerfoot is a plus 13. Garland is a plus 12. They're both helping the team offensively and a little bit defensively here, both being net positives on the season. But when you look at Conor Garland, he is a feisty guy. And yes, John Steger saying he would be a good fit for beefing up the second power play unit. Sure, but Alex Kerfoot can fill that position. He could help this team offensively and defensively on the second line. For sure. He's got less points than Alex Kerfoot, who's currently playing on that second line, though. I'm not sure if him coming here would be any additional step up on what Alex Kerfoot currently provides. The other thing you have to look at is, yes, he has 3 more years on his deal after next season. He would be lasting here for this season plus 4 until the 2026 season. Alex Kerfoot only has 1 year left after this one, so it would be up after next season. But Alex Kerfoot does make $1 million less. So he fits into this cap system better as is right now. So if you're going to swap out a guy like Alex Kerfoot for essentially a very, very similar, if not the same player in Conor Garland, why would you be willing to pay $1.4 million more? Now, the reason I think the chatter has kind of continued on Conor Garland here and how he might be a guy the Leafs are interested in is because it's been rumored that the Vancouver Canucks are not quite as keen on trading a guy like JT Miller at this time. Maybe they're looking for the best possible deal. Maybe they haven't been wowed yet. Maybe they're looking for the Toronto Maple Leafs to say, here's the farm. Timothy Liljegren, Nick Robertson, Matthew Knees, a first-round pick. Take it all. But I don't think that that is going to happen. I think Kyle Dubas is very calculated, very meticulous in the trades that he makes, who goes in and who goes out the door here in Toronto. These guys break this down and think about this way too much, especially when considering the future. They look at this as a situation of, yes, we got to go all in right now, but we cannot completely throw away next season, the season after that, in order to bring a guy in right now who may or may not help us. When it comes to Conor Garland, my personal opinion, he is not a game breaker. The type of guy you'd be looking for to fulfill that role would be JT Miller. If you can't acquire a guy like JT Miller, I think that taking Conor Garland would be settling. It would be going out and acquiring a player for the sake of acquiring a player. It would be going out and acquiring a player to mix things up and hope that something different might happen here in that position. Do I think that these rumors have some substance? Do I think that they are valid? Yes, I do. I think the Leafs might have taken a look at him. I think the Vancouver Canucks are definitely interested in looking to trade him. Considering where their team is right now, the fact that they're willing to move on from Brock Besser, JT Miller potentially, now looking at Conor Garland saying this is a guy we might have to move on from, I think the Vancouver Canucks are willing to take calls on anybody other than really Quinn Hughes, Thatcher Demko, and Elias Pettersson at this point. So I think that there is some substance to that rumor that Conor Garland is on the trade block or is a guy that the Vancouver Canucks might be interested in moving on from. But do I think he's the perfect fit or a guy that would take the Leafs team to the next level? No, I do not. Garland is feisty. Garland has a bit of jam to his game. He is a right-handed shot, but he can play both right and left wing. So he could be a little bit versatile here in being able to move between lines, move up and down the lineup, between different positions in the same line. Yes, he can provide that. And of course, he's a guy that could help on the second power play unit. But when you're looking at a top power play unit with guys like Morgan Rielly, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, John Tavares, you're really hoping that you never really have to get to that second power play unit because you have an expectation that that first unit can take care of things before it gets to them. So going out and acquiring a guy ahead of the trade deadline that can help your second power play unit into the playoffs, what does that do for you? What does that really do for you? I don't know that this is the type of thing they should be going out and getting. I think when you look at JT Miller, if he's a guy that could come here and be a game changer. He's a guy who could drastically improve this team the second he steps on the ice. If the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight made a trade for JT Miller, he flew in tomorrow and he played tomorrow night's game against, well, I guess they're playing against the Vancouver Canucks. If he played against Vancouver tomorrow, he would make a difference in the Leafs lineup. I don't see Conor Garland that way. He's a very good player, don't get me wrong. If he was here on Toronto, I would be happy with him. But I don't think he's the type of guy that ahead of the trade deadline you look at as your big ticket piece to significantly upgrade this top six. I don't think he's that guy. I think that if you move past JT Miller, there's other guys you look at around the league. I think there's other guys you look to and go, that guy could help. A guy I certainly look to would be a Travis Konechny out of Philadelphia. He is very, very, very gritty. He will fight. He will hit. He will get involved. He can get points. He is skilled. Yes, he's a smaller guy, but he's got a lot of heart and a lot of grit in his game. He is the type of guy that I do think would change the makeup here. I think Conor Garland being added would add a little bit of feistiness for sure, but it's not taking you to the next level. A Konechny, if you can't get a JT Miller, that's the type of guy who could change the makeup of a second line. That's the type of guy who could come into this top six, continue to put up points alongside John Tavares and William Nylander, and go out there, bang bodies, stir the drink, and just be a bit of a menace. Conor Garland, to me, at $4.95 million is not the fit. I understand he's here until 2026 if we go and get him. That's great. That's great. We're trying to win right now. It's lovely to have some guys with term. But I think a lot of where it comes is, can they help us in the next year, this year, next year, the year after that? If you start planning for 4 years out from now, right now, you will be in trouble. Right now, you will sacrifice things. You will sacrifice a step towards winning that Stanley Cup if you think, oh, well, this guy could help us 4 years from now and we get to lock him in and 4.95 is great. It is great. But does it help us win the cup this year? Considering the player Conor Garland is right now, what he does, how he contributes, I don't know if he's that guy. I really don't know if he's that guy. And when I compare him to Alex Kerfoot this season, what Kerfoot has done, mind you, Kerfoot playing with better players in Nylander and Tavares than Garland is out in Vancouver, their points are relatively the same. Kerfoot, in fact, actually having more. One better, plus, minus. You take that with a grain of salt. Plus, minus doesn't mean everything. I understand that. But 7 more points in 3 more games played. They're going to come here. Conor Garland would come here and essentially do what we have Kerfoot doing right now. Is this a guy that you would want to go and trade pieces for, trade the future for, trade Matthew Knees for, in order to bring here and help us a couple years from now? I don't think so. I don't think he makes that immediate impact now. He might be a guy that helps in the future, for sure. But right now, I don't see him being a difference maker. And right now, what they need, if they're going to go out and acquire somebody, is somebody who helps them when they step foot in this lineup tomorrow. Ilya Lyubushkin isn't the biggest name ever. But when he came here, he's been a guy that stood out defensively. He's been very good, very calm, subtle, poised, moves the puck well, reads defensive plays very well. He's been a reliable guy that has significantly helped. And oh, by the way, we went and acquired him to be a 6D man. That's exactly what he's been. And we gave up Nick Ritchie and got out of $2.5 million for this season and next to do so. We actually helped ourselves in more ways than one by going out and acquiring that guy. To go out and get into Conor Garland, you're going to have to give up pieces. Picks, prospects, maybe a guy on the team right now. It's not the same. It doesn't help us in that same way. I think if JT Miller is not the option, we need to look elsewhere. We need to see in what other ways he can impact it here. Now, the only caveat to the things I'm going to say here, which may be a little bit contradictory, and I completely understand, but I will throw this out as a piece to think about, a little food for thought moving forward. If Kyle Dubas had interest in him when he was in Arizona, maybe they see something that we are not right now. Maybe they see something that he's not projecting in his stats with Vancouver. The reason I say this, Conor Garland played for the Arizona Coyotes last season. If Kyle Dubas was interested in him last year, and he had interest and he had eyes on Michael Bunting, and he had interest and he had eyes on Ilya Lyubushkin, there could be some merit to it. Personally, what I see in Vancouver right now, I don't think he's a complete difference maker. He'd be a good player here, not a difference maker. But I will give the credit to Kyle Dubas in finding these guys out of the Arizona Coyotes because he's taking something out of a complete dumpster fire and turning it into his own gold. So we will see what happens moving forward. But Leafs fans, let me know in the comments below if you think the Leafs should be acquiring Conor Garland, what type of fit you think he'd be here in Toronto, if you think this is a good guy to go out and get, if you think Kyle Dubas should sell the farm and go get him. And also let me know, what should we be trading for this type of player if we go and get it? If not Conor Garland, who should we be going and acquiring? Because I think JT Miller, Travis Konecny is right up there. Let me know in the comments below who you guys think we should be going out and getting. Let me know if you agree with my Travis Konecny take. I'd be interested to hear it all. And most importantly, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leafs fans, thank you guys so much for following along. We will see you guys tomorrow night after the game against the Vancouver Canucks with JT Miller, Conor Garland, Luke Shen, all the possible future Leafs. We'll see you guys tomorrow night after the game. Keep believing.